With the Indy 500 this weekend, well later today, weather permitting, and the iRacing Indy 500 next weekend, I thought I'd have my first goes around an oval in the Dallara IR18 Indycar in, well, iRacing. It's something I've been wanting to do for a while, but I just don't really have the time, which is also the reason why you don't see much sim racing stuff on the channel anymore. But I had a spare couple of hours, so I did an open setup IndyCar race around the Indy Oval, 80 laps to get to the end in one piece. It's my second race in this series. I did one before where I finished 5th, and just like in that race, I got a poor start. 2nd down to 5th by the end of lap 2. If I'm going to do the Indy 500, I'd better get good at rolling starts, because the last thing I want is to be in the pack where people are racing for 50th like they're going for the win. But then on lap 3 I get a freebie when this driver in the Pennzoil car gets netcoded straight into a wall. Amazingly, no yellow comes out for this. Then a couple of laps later, on lap 5, the 15 catches too much dirty air in front and understeers into the turn 1 wall. Dirty air is insane in these things, and you could be needing 6th gear like a second and a half back. So those freebies put me into 3rd place, and the plan is to just hold a good distance back to not get my tyres shredded in the dirty air, and also do a tiny little bit of fuel saving. More fuel saved now means less fuel to put in towards the end. Assuming it all goes green, obviously. The leader, Josh, who had started on pole, pitted around the end of lap 29. I managed to save an extra 2 laps worth of fuel, so I decided to stay out. Go as long as possible so that, I'm pitting a little bit later than everybody else and have that short fill towards the end. Again, assuming that it stays green. But I screwed it up. When I tried to pit, I got distracted by the car in front of me and completely overshot the pit entrance, bringing out the yellow. But I still managed to get to the pits and get some fuel in just as the engine began to cough. I then had to drop to the back of the queue because I'd entered the closed pit lane. Yeah, pretty embarrassing. When the race restarted, a few cars went into the pits. Speeding penalties? Hey, I don't know, but even with the drop to the back of the queue, I was still 5th, which wasn't too bad, and I had the pace to get back towards the front. Now I'm just using the standard setup that iRacing gives you here. No eSport setups, I'm just using what was available on the setup screen, although I would like something a tiny bit faster for the 500. But then Josh had to pit again for some reason. Not sure why, but it was a free position, although I would like to actually earn these positions instead of just getting freebies. I then overtook a lapped car and was now in 3rd behind the 2 leaders. Them constantly battling allowed me to catch up a tiny bit, but it was still a case of protect the tyres and save a little bit of fuel. I wasn't really trying to battle my way to the front here. I decided I didn't want to be 3rd anymore and leapfrogged both of them with the overspeed to take 1st place, but then they netcoded each other, which took the Kyle Larson car out. Oh, so that explains the late yellow. I think that's why they call it catch fencing. So I pitted under the yellows and took tyres, with Denzel, who said hi before the race, also coming into the pits. We were the only front runners to do so, and coming out it said that I needed about 10 extra litres to make sure I got to the end. On the restart I clear some lap traffic, which means I'm 4th behind 3 lads all driving for the same team. But I've got 4 lap fresher tyres than them, which isn't much fresher, but it's fast enough. At least it was for me anyway. I overtook one of these Valhalla cars on the back straight to take 3rd, I took 2nd into turn 3 and retook the lead over the start finish line, but I'm still 10 litres or about 4 laps short on fuel. So my strategy now is to pit when the guy behind me does, because he didn't pit under the last yellow, and hopefully that will cover him off, if that's even a thing in oval racing. It's also assuming that it's going to be green until the end of the race, because, well, it's Indy, it's oval racing, people are going to be racing hard for 15th on the last 10 laps or so. Jay, who was in 2nd, pitted at the end of lap 61. I follow him in 1 lap later and I take the 10 or 11 litres I needed to get to the end, along with some fresh tyres. There's about 19 to go here, so it looks like a nice clean run to the end given how far everybody is spread out. Four laps later, we get a yellow. It's a bit of a weird one. This guy, who will remain nameless, crashed in the pits and then drew the yellow on the way back out when he parked the car. So I lead the safety car train, and I kind of take the opportunity to announce my inexperience to everybody else.
Just as a quick one, I've never done one of these from the front before. Do I just go whenever I like, as long as it's before the green flag?
Once the safety car pulls in, mate, you control the race.
Cheers.
So when the safety car came in, I took Jay's advice and controlled that restart, going early to try and catch people out and get a little bit of a gap. Got the engine cranked, I'm running in 5th gear, burning as much fuel as I possibly can, and just, well, keeping it out of the wall. The real race will happen in the last 2 or 3 laps. We're about, what, sort of 17 to go at this point? So 3 to go then, just coming up to 2 to go, coming out of turn 4, and it's 1 Brabham versus 3 Valhalla cars. I've got Kieran now in 2nd rather than Jay. Kieran managed to get past his teammate, and I have to block to the inside to try and force Kieran to go around the outside as we start lap number 79. Because I've got the inside line, taking the shorter route through turn 1, I managed to keep the lead, or maybe Kieran just didn't manage to keep the momentum up enough. Either way, I managed to keep the position, and was surprised to have done so because I was expected to just be absolutely creamed at this point. Have to block again. Maybe that block was a little bit naughty given the fact it was a bit late, but still Kieran has to go to the outside, and I managed to keep the position into turn 3, and Kieran doesn't bother to attempt into turn 4 because he knows he's going to get the overspeed coming out over the start-finish line. So we're coming up now to the white flag lap, the final lap, and Kieran is right up behind me, and he manages to get the position on the inside. I wasn't able to block hard enough and probably just was a bit too conservative there. Kieran takes the position, and I think I've lost the race because I think that Jay, now in third, is also going to have me on this lap. But I was determined to try and get the position back because I'll just be able to do on the back stretch what Kieran tried to do to me before. Kieran blocks to the inside, and I have to go to the outside, which is what he did to me on the previous lap. And I just swing it around the outside, drop it into fifth to try and get the torque on the outside. And there it is. I managed to get out of turn 3 just ahead, and then coming through turn 4, I hear the magical word clear. I managed to get back in front of him, and now just sort of watch the mirrors. Don't try to weave too hard because that's just going to cause a crash, and I managed to get over the line. Just in the lead. So all that's left to do then is to look at the results. It was the second of 2 splits because my oval I rating is pretty rubbish, but I still gained 76 I rating for winning the race. Gained a little bit of safety rating as well because I had a 4x in the previous IndyCar race that I did, which sort of lost me a tiny bit of the safety rating. But I won the race by just 0.020 of a second, which is insanely close. It's the closest finish I've ever had in any race. So I finished ahead of Kieran, Aaron, and Josh here. Jay dropped a position back over the line by the looks of things. Denzel, who said hello before the race, he was in 6th. And in the words of Dave Cam, who are the biggest winners and the biggest losers out of all this? I think Kieran is the biggest winner, 84 gained there, unless I can see something else. Nope. And the biggest loser is Aaron Saliba, who lost 83 I rating. A few rookies, well, I'll say a few, 2 rookies on the grid here, but it was still a very, very entertaining race, and it was a little bit boring in the sort of opening portion, just running in third and just holding it there and bits and pieces like that, but then absolutely gunning it towards the end and having that really close finish as well, with the top 7 separated by just over 2 seconds and the sort of top 5 being separated by just over half a second, which is proper oval racing stuff. So if you enjoyed this race and you enjoyed the video, then do leave it a like. And if you want to see more, then you can subscribe and get the bell on. Maybe not for the sim racing stuff, but certainly for the other stuff that I do around here on the channel. I will be doing the Indy 500 next weekend. I don't know what time slot I'm going to be doing, but I've got to get through the qualifying bit first, so there's all that to sort out. But I hope you can join me for that next weekend. And, well, yeah, that's pretty much it. Massive thanks to the patrons and members who support the channel at a more personal level. All the information for that is down in the description. And, yeah, until next time, I've been AdmiralLaWind. Have a great day wherever you are, and goodbye.